I think it'd be important to give you a little bit of a background on how Linda's and us have kind of gotten to this point. And as we say in life, it's, if you can shorten your learning curve, that's the best way to get somewhere. And so about 18 years ago, I picked up the phone and I called this lady that was looking for a coach. And I said, for special needs kids, they had no coach. So I answered I called Nancy and she said, well, why don't you come out and see what you think? That was 18 years ago. And shortly thereafter, I met Steve and Stephanie and Sherry. And so we developed, obviously, a wonderful relationship over all these years. And I don't have a special needs son, but I certainly learned a lot about the community and why the kids are called special and why you parents are called special, for sure. And looking at the challenges of life, what do they do for education, furthering their education? What is the housing issue? And so where are the solutions for that? And so a while back, Steve and I, we've been talking about it, and Sherry along a lot, and going out and exploring and learning and figuring out, what are some of the options and how can you get there and how can you make it happen sooner than later. And so we got started way before Jeremiah's Ranch, and along the way somebody said, hey, there's this lady, Linda White, up there in Fallbrook, and they're kind of doing what you guys are looking to do. I go, well, the good Lord just said to call this lady. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just called her and said, hey, we're doing some stuff. I got to believe there's going to be some overlap. So how about I come up and we just chat? So we did. And we got Special Olympics. We got Special Olympics going, because that's what we did in Poway. We got team sports. I love athletics. I stumped in school, but I got a college football scholarship, so I just love sports. So, and I just know what value you get at that as a person, no matter what your skill level is. And so we started with 12 kids on the softball team. We got like 70 now, and so it's just been wonderful to see their growth and just wonderful experience. And we just got basketball now. We have 100 kids in basketball, and we had USD's college team down there Tuesday night, and Stephanie's boyfriend just went lights out in this three-point shooting contest against the best shooter at USD and beat him in horse. And if you want to see the video on YouTube, I'll show it to you. It was unbelievable. I mean,
he's pretty awesome with his sport.
He is. And he's our pitcher on our softball team, and we won 2 gold medals, didn't we, Steph? And so it's super. So we were looking at all, what do we do for housing, for, thinking about Stephanie and her friends and everything. And so we've explored a lot of the options, and I won't get into all the detail because it just take up too much time, but the group home, building something, finding a couple of houses in a neighborhood type of approach, building this big thing. And then along the way, we bumped into Christina Grant and her husband as a result of trying to provide some transportation for Stephanie. And so Steve and I got to talking about the supported model. And, we understood it, learned more about it, and we tried to apply it to building several homes in a neighborhood in Poway, and the numbers, and then, as Linda said, regional center was a little bit of a roadblock along the way, but we learned. And then the other thing that I've learned, and I think Steve and Sherry will certainly speak to, is obviously every child's different, every parent's different, every situation is different, and the timing's different in order to, when is the right time to find some kind of alternative for the child, your kids. And so nothing was really happening based on all the stuff that Steve and I have been talking about over the years, and they ran into Christina, and the timing was right for Stephanie. She was feeling really good about, she and Aaron getting together, and they just made it happen. And they'll explain that whole thing to you. But the point of it is, so I shared that, as Linda said, Jeremiah's Ranch is a big vision over here. Some parents got some immediate needs. What's going to happen now? Where are we going to go? And so we talked about maybe looking at this supported living model as a way. You don't have to go build anything. You don't have to buy anything. You just go rent, find some really good staff, find a really good manager, and you can make it happen. And Steve and Sherry will tell you how it's happening for them and for Stephanie. So that's kind of the background of how it got from this big vision to Linda's thought process of making something happening now. And I think that that's, and again, as she said, it's something we'll be able to point to, progress for those that are in need today and tomorrow. And then to create, again, this community effort within the community. Jeremiah's Ranch is this, got the college for folks, it's got this going on, and a variety of things that create this identity. And somebody will come along and say, hey, I got this place out here, let's try it. But I got to tell you from our experience, bureaucracy, the regional center, the mentality still in the special needs community doesn't make it easy, unfortunately. But it's got to start somewhere, and I know the folks that are doing it today, we have one group in Poway that's starting it. It's going to be a challenge for them, but the next group that wants to do it, it'll be a little bit easier. That's just the way pioneering is. You guys are pioneering here in Fallbrook, so that's what's going to happen. But again, to Linda's point, it's getting started sooner than later, and I think this is a great way to do that. So I'm really excited that Steve convinced Sherry to come up here and speak.